today to discuss how to properly set up one of our Burly Shellplates for the 1050. What I have here is I have a Dillon 1050 that is got the Mark 7 Auto Drive Pro on it. And as you can tell, I've already pulled the tool head off, and I've gotten the shell plate out, and I've even got my case feed plunger out. And I've even already went through and cleaned the bottom of the frame, well, the top of the frame here underneath the shell plate real good. I'd recommend using something like Scotch-Brite or something like that, just so you can ensure that you don't have any powder residue build up or anything that may be under there to possibly get between the frame and the shell plate. Things you're going to need before we get started: obviously your shell plate. And what we have here is the number 3. This is for loading 556, 223, 300 blackout, 380s. Next, you're going to need a set of filler gauges, and this is just a set I've had laying around forever. It's actually a Craftsman set. You can get these pretty much anywhere where they sell like mechanic auto parts and stuff like that. And you're also going to need a straight edge. This is just a straight razor blade, just something that you can get in here where your case feed plunger goes, and that'll be fine. First things first, what we're going to do is take our shell plate, take some grease, and this is just grease from the Dillon maintenance kit, so you know, just some kind of grease like that. But you're going to run a bead on top of your shell plate here, just outside of the main shaft hole, just like you would with the Dillon stock shell plates. And then we're going to just set this down on here. Now, I already have this press near the top of the stroke. It's just jogged down one time just so I can freely spin this shell plate. So you want to keep that in mind for the next step here. But then you're going to take your detention ring and just tighten it down. Dillon says for their shell plates, I think they say tighten all the way down and loosen, I believe it's 1/8 of a turn or 1/4 of a turn, something like that. That would be kind of a good starting point for properly adjusting one of these. You may want to back off more than that. Just it really depends on the press you're on. I have already had this press initially set up, so I know how it is. But as you can tell, I tightened that down and I backed it off. But what you're going to want to do next is, and this might be kind of hard to see, you're going to want to take your straight edge and you're going to want to guide it along this plane here where your case feed plunger is, onto the plane of the shell pocket where it actually holds the shell. And basically what you want is you want those two planes to be flush, because when they're flush you will not have any case insertion issues. And if you, yeah, right now my plate is too high, I cannot get it up in the shell pocket, so I'm going to tighten it down, and there it just went on there. You might want to go just a little bit further. Okay, that looks like it might be good right there. Now what you're going to want to do is take your filler gauge, and I recommend starting off low and then just working your way up. Most of Dillon's presses range anywhere from 5 to 20 thousandths. So I'm going to start off with just 5 here. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to take your filler gauge and you're going to put it right here in this flat spot between the frame and the shell plate, where the casing actually ejects off by the ejector tab. And that's way too loose, way too loose. So we're going to step up here to 6, and that will just barely go under there, and that's kind of what you want. You want it where it's still a little tight. Sorry if you can't see that any better. I'm going to go up to 7 and just see if it will even go under there. Yeah, I can't really get 7 underneath there like I could to 6. And I've set this press up before, and I know it's 6 thousandths. So, now what you're going to want to do is, you're pretty much ready to go. Just put everything back together. Just tighten your shell plate detention ring back down. You don't have to get these crazy tight. And definitely want to make sure your shell plate will at least spin. Yeah, this was good. Now I'm going to tighten my ejector tab back up. And what I recommend doing, just as a precaution for in the future, is get some kind of marker that you can mark on this detention ring. And I always just put a mark right here on the outside of the detention ring where it lines up with the tip of my ejector tab. And the reason I do that is so these can work loose. If I am running the press and I notice that my index mark is, say, all the way over here, well, I know that it's loosened up and I need to tighten this back up and tighten my detention ring back down. That way I won't have any case insertion issues. That's just, you don't have to do that, but that's just something I like to do. Just to help prevent any issues in the future. And that's pretty much it. Next thing you need to do is obviously now is just put your tabs back on, and then you can put your case feed plunger back in, and adapter and all that stuff, and then your tool head, and you'll be good to go. And that's pretty much it for this tutorial as far as how to set up the shell plate. And we hope you have a lot of luck with them, and we appreciate your business. And if you need anything else, let us know. Thanks.